Hello class, good afternoon. Today we are going to continue with the following topic. It's pretty much related to the one that we saw of have and has. Yeah? But in this case, we already know how to use it in affirmative form. We already know how to use it in negative form, which is the one of don't have and the one of doesn't have, right? In this case, today we are going to see the topic of questions. Yeah, questions pretty much are las preguntas, okay? We are gonna see the simple question form using obviously the verb of have, okay? So pretty much that's gonna be the topic of today. Simple questions form of the verb have, okay? Something very simple. So in this case, the first thing that we need to know is that we have to keep dividing or identifying the different subjects in the two groups that we have. So pretty much it's going to be exactly the same. We need to identify the subjects from the group number 1 and the subjects from the group number 2. Remember, the group number 2 is composed by the subjects he, she, and it. Okay? And the group number 1, remember, they are composed by the subjects I, you, they, and we. Okay? Now, first of all, the first thing that we need to know is when we start a question, cuando iniciamos una pregunta, in English we need to use an auxiliary. Okay? Tenemos que utilizar un auxiliar. An auxiliary, pretty much, a translation in Spanish doesn't have any, no tiene como que una traducción en español, es solamente una palabra que nos ayuda a formular una pregunta in English. Okay? In this case, we are going to have two auxiliaries. Vamos a tener dos auxiliares. One is going to be the auxiliary do, and the other one is going to be the auxiliary does. This one's the one that we have over here. Esos que tenemos aquí, they're going to help us, nos van a ayudar a formular or to create the question. Nos van a ayudar a formular o a crear preguntas. Okay? Now, it's more than obvious that each of them will be used. Creo que es más que obvio que obviamente uno de estos va a ser utilizado con un grupo específico de subjects, ¿ok? I believe that you can have the idea, supongo que ya más o menos tienen la idea de cómo se va a utilizar. Let me just tell you how is it. First of all, the auxiliary that we use in the group number 1, primero que nada el auxiliar que utilizamos siempre con el group number 1, or when the subjects are in the group number 1, is the auxiliary do, okay? So do is gonna be the first thing that we have to write when we are creating the question, okay? So do, and then after that we write our subject, and then we are gonna use the auxiliary have, and then we are gonna add our complement. O sea, hacer lo que resta del complemento de la pregunta. Let me tell you an example so you guys can understand. Ahí les doy un ejemplo para que puedan entender. Over here we can say, do you have do you have an English book? Do you have an English book in your backpack? Over here, what does this mean? ¿Qué significa esto? Que si tú tienes un libro de inglés en tu mochila. Si se fijan, I'm sorry, if you can see, we pretty much are following the structure, estamos siguiendo la estructura. Primero tenemos do, and here it is, do. Then the subject, luego el sujeto, here it is, and then we use have. Ok, y ya finalmente todo lo que resta va al final. Do you have a book in your backpack? Finalmente cerramos with the question mark, the one that we have over here. Ok, let me tell you another example so you guys can understand. Les doy otro ejemplo para que puedan entender. Supongamos que yo tengo la oración de, no sé, they have a big fridge in their kitchen. Ellos tienen un refri muy grande en su refrigerador. Si yo quiero hacer una pregunta simple, o sea, confirmar o preguntar eso, ¿qué es lo que tengo que hacer? Prácticamente, I just need to follow this structure that I have over here, okay? So pretty much, the only thing that I need to add is just the auxiliary do, yeah? Do they have a big fridge in their kitchen, and we close it with a question mark. Here it is. Auxiliary do, subject, subject, have, complement, a big fridge in the kitchen, and we close with the question mark y cerramos con el signo de interrogación, ¿ok? Realmente es algo muy sencillo. Remember, we always use the auxiliary do and only do with the group number 1, ¿ok? So now, I'm gonna tell you how is it with the subjects from the group number 2. En este caso, pretty much is with the other auxiliary that we saw. Remember that we have two auxiliaries. One is the auxiliary do, and over here we are gonna have the other auxiliary, which is gonna be does. Okay. Remember that we cannot use the word has in questions, and remember in negative form we don't use has either. Okay. So in this case, the structure pretty much will be really similar to the first one, but instead of having do, we will be having does. Tendremos que utilizar el does en vez del do al principio. Y sigue siendo lo mismo. Se las voy a poner para que me puedan identificar cómo es. Does y luego subject, el sujeto, or the person, and then have otra vez, and then the complement, el complemento, and we close with the question mark y cerramos con el signo de interrogación. Entonces, supongamos que yo te estoy diciendo, I'm telling you, I don't know, Rebecca has blue eyes. Rebecca tiene ojos azules. In this case it's affirmative, that's why I use has. But if I want to make a question, si quieres una pregunta, ya no puedo utilizar has, tengo que utilizar, I have to use have. It's pretty much the same. Entonces, para hacer la pregunta, what do I have to do? Pretty much, I just need to follow the structure, seguir la estructura si quieren, o simplemente cambiar, ponerle el does al principio y cambiar el has por have. So pretty much, over here, my question will be, Does Rebecca have blue eyes? Rebecca tiene ojos azules? That's my question, okay? And then if the answer is affirmative, I will have to say Rebecca has blue eyes or Rebecca doesn't have blue eyes, yeah? Entonces, here it is. Does, subject, have, complement, and I close it with the question mark y lo cierro con la pregunta de interrogación. Okay? Basically, what are we saying? ¿Qué es lo que estamos diciendo? Pretty much our structure is always going to be with the auxiliary do or the auxiliary does. Then we always have to use have. Then we have to use the subject, and then after that we always we use the word have, and then we just write over complement and we close it with the question mark. Okay, as simple as that. This one is the structure that we have to use to make simple question, pero es una pregunta simple. Okay, so pretty much the activity that we're gonna be doing, la actividad que vamos a hacer, I'm gonna be pretty much telling you Alright, pretty much I'm gonna be having affirmative or negative sentences, and then you will have to create a simple question form with the information provided. Let me tell you an example so you guys can understand. Let's suppose that I have over here, Victor doesn't have a new computer. Victor no tiene una computadora nueva. This one is negative form. Acuérdense que Victor is from the subjects from the group number 2. Por eso utilizamos doesn't have. Ahora, the same information provided, con la misma información dada, se tiene que hacer the affirmative sentences or the negative form. Pero a fuerza vamos a tener que hacer la pregunta. Entonces simplemente va a ser poner lo mismo, pero in the different ways that we already know, en las formas diferentes que hacemos. Affirmative, negative form, and question. Entonces, prácticamente, la primera sería con has, because Victor is from the group number 2. So Victor has a new laptop. Computer, sorry. Victor has a new computer. Ok, estamos afirmando que sí tiene. Ahora, con esa información, I will have to make the question. ¿Qué tengo que hacer? The only thing that I have to do is just add the auxiliary do or does y cambiar el has por have, okay? Or if you want, you can follow the structure. Si quieren, pueden seguir la estructura que les acabo de dar. Entonces, over here, I have to use does because according to Victor is from the group number 2 because he's he. So, does Victor have a new computer? Does Victor have a new computer? And the answer will be yes, Victor has a new computer, or no, Victor doesn't have a new computer. Y esto es lo que estamos aprendiendo, ¿ok? How to make a simple question. ¿Tiene Victor una computadora nueva? Sí, si tiene una computadora nueva, or no, he doesn't have a new computer. Estamos haciendo una pregunta simple, ¿ok? So, I'm just gonna tell you one more example so you guys can understand. Ahora les va otro ejemplo para que puedan entender. From the group number 1, so let's suppose that I have affirmative, negative form, and I have to make the question. Supongamos que en el otro tengo nada más afirmativo. Entonces, I don't know, we can say we have a big backyard. Nosotros tenemos un patio muy grande, ¿ok? Entonces, we have a big backyard. Tenemos un patio muy grande. Obviously, we use have because it's affirmative form. Negative form, ya saben cómo hacerlo, entonces sería we don't have a big backyard. And over here, the question, la pregunta simple que tengo que hacer, tengo que identify the subject. El sujeto ya saben que es from the group number 1 en este caso. Entonces, I have to start with do. Entonces sería do, que pongo después, the subject, do we, and then have. Do we have a big backyard? ¿Tenemos un patio grande? Yeah. Yes, we do have a big backyard. Or no, we don't have a big backyard. Entonces, otra vez, we are just creating the questions. Okay? So, if you guys need help or something, just let me know. I'm just gonna be right here. Acuérdense que me pueden enviar un mensaje en el horario establecido. ¿Tienen duda o algo? Don't forget to ask me. No olviden preguntarme. Okay? I hope that you guys have a great day. Que tengan un buen día. I'll see you next class. Cuídense.